get the tune. I couldn't get, there were no words, couldn't make out the instruments. It was
Like
celestial.
nothing. It was like nothing in this world, right?
Nothing
Nothing
in
of
this.
you. Yeah.
I
Interesting.
mean, truly. Uh, so cocktail of drugs, I was a walking zombie. But
Mm,
through all of this, my mom died.
mm,
And she and I worked together. She and I rode to and from work together. We would carpool. She was my best friend. And so many of y'all I've spoken to, y'all felt the same way. So when she died, I was so desperate and hungry to talk to her again. And I knew people who could do this. And I thought, well, if they can do it, maybe I can do it. And you want to talk about that not being perfect,
right.
better than to quit my job without
Mm,
a job. But I decided to quit my job and go learn how to talk to angels and hopefully talk to mom, right? Not perfect, maybe not even smart. But one of the things I found out was I could do it. The other thing I found out was I'm an empath, like so many of you, and I was picking up on other people's emotions and having these crazy mood swings. And I learned I wasn't crazy, that the voices in the music were actually the angel's way of coming in and letting me know they're here with me, and they were supporting me because they knew I was going through this huge transition in my life with my mom passing. So it's been it's been a journey. It's been incredible. And some of the crazy things that have come out of it, um, things with my husband and things he's been able to see. It's been really, really cool. But wanting to talk to mom, um, I figured I could learn how to do it, and I have. And it's just grown and evolved from there to not just being something just I use for myself, but now for my clients all over the world.
Yeah, it sounds like, and I know this to be true, and I'll share about the story. I was going through a divorce from a marriage that didn't work out, and I went to see you somewhere around, I think the Woodlands area is up north of Houston. And I remember I was dead set. That's like, I gotta figure out, do I go back? Or do I actually like go in a different direction? And I remember you showing me and drawing what the angels were sharing with you, which was like this very thorny, like sort of intertwined, entangled heart. And you're like, they're showing me if you go back, you're going to have these thorns around your heart, and it's just going to be struggle after struggle after struggle. But then they're showing me another fork in the road, another timeline, and you nailed it. You said I was going to be driving back and forth from Houston to like the Austin area. I was going to meet somebody. We were going to get married, relatively soon thereafter. And you even said we were going to have twins, which a lot of people may or not know. I have twin boys. They're fraternal twins now. They're going to be 13. And so there was stuff coming out of that was uncanny. But that's when I realized, okay, there is another timeline for me. I'm going to trust it. I'm going to go forward. Do you remember that day?
Yeah. I was, I was a nervous wreck. Okay. I mean, it's easy to think, oh, I'm just going to do a reading. But, you know, Darius was very well established in Houston. And so I was very intimidated. But going in there and seeing the things, and how was I going to tell this man, yeah, if you go back and you stay with this
leave
woman,
your wife.
yeah.
Well, it was already, I mean, everything was already filed. So it was pretty much, it was done.
And then to try to tell, hey, he's an attorney. And I'm supposed to tell him, you've got a spiritual path and a spiritual business. And I was scared to death to try to tell him that. Thank God he is who he is, and he received it open heartedly and and everything. But yeah, it was, I remember, and I remember because I'm not an artist, y'all. But I remember going, okay, here's what they're showing me. I wish I had like VR glasses I could hand it to my clients, but it was barbed wire and thorns, and it was a
Yeah.
tangled mess. And it was like, oh, there's no happiness and joy in here.
Yeah.
You stay here and try to make this work,
Mm,
which how many of us do that? We're like, oh, I don't want to quit
no.
this job yet. I don't have another one, or I can't leave this relationship or leave this marriage, right? Because it's like, oh, I gotta keep trying. I gotta keep trying. But knowing that what was on the other side yeah, it was beautiful. And I can't believe they're 13 now. My gosh.
Yeah, they are. And that was probably like 15 years ago or even more, maybe 16. It was around 2009. So it was a good bit ago. Actually, way more than that. So, the big question today for people, if everyone is in my sort of position and I'm walking into this not sure, um a lot of people may not believe that they have another life path, maybe with more abundance, joy, peace waiting for them. What are some things you've seen where people have opened that up, or some evidence that actually everybody can grab onto and say, you know what, that's also could be possible for me? What have you seen, Courtney?
Yeah, here recently, working with a client, similar situation, had 3 kids. The marriage, she was doing everything in her power to hang on. And we started working together, and I was able to show her there is a man who, of course, they didn't know each other yet, right? I said, he's waiting for you. And he's not going to, come and, be considered a homewrecker, right? But if you leave your husband now, here's what I'm seeing.
Mm.
And being able to pull that into her life. They're engaged, they're getting married in a couple of months. Another client who I
Wait, wait,
mentored.
wait. So she ended up meeting someone else, and then now they're getting married, and she was in
So
a
she was
fail.
in a marriage, and it was really, really bad in every
Oh,
sense of the word. And she was like, do I keep trying?
yeah,
And I said, if you decide you want more out of life, you
out
will
of
not
life.
be single long. There is a man waiting for
Oh
you
my gosh.
on the other side of this. And they're in Houston. And so I was able to tell her that guy lives over here. This guy lives over here. The one who you're thinking of going on a date with, he lives over here. It's not him. It's this other guy. And which really, to be able to pinpoint it like that is really cool. If the angels give me that
Wow.
ability. And so she said, I'm gonna do this. It feels right in my heart. And we worked through some things, and they started dating. And she said, I'm not gonna ask you if this guy I'm dating is the one. And I said, okay. And she said, but I can see on your face. And I just was beaming. And it was like, it's the fairy tale. And that was what I told her. I said, there is a light at the end of this
Mm,
tunnel. And I know it seems so horrible and just everything is falling apart, but think of it as the breakdown before the breakthrough.
yeah.
And it's so wonderful to see them together. I mean, just couldn't be happier for them. And yes, they are getting married in the beginning of July.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of people don't really understand that there is a higher path for a lot of folks. And you can do energy work, you can do a lot of like clearing and stuff, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're jumping timelines. Explain a little bit about that. I mean, sometimes you can do clearing work, but like I could have gone back and said, well, I'm going to work on myself and I'm going to make this marriage work. And even though I've been doing all this clearing work, I'm still stuck in the same timeline. Maybe I'm a better person, but I'm still a better person now suffering in something that's not of service to me. I mean, can you explain a little bit about that? Because sometimes you actually have to jump timelines a little bit.
Yeah. I can think immediately of the two of my mentoring clients. One of them, we sat there and cleared and cleared and cleared and cleared her,
Hmm.
and finally got to a point, and I went, "Oh, it's your husband. We need to clear your husband." And we cleared him and cleared him and cleared him. And she came back and said, "What are we doing wrong now? How come it's not happening?" And I said, there is a frequency, there is an alignment, there is a resonance, a vibration, and you have to align with it. And when you decide to make that switch, and showing her what the frequencies were and giving her a taste of it, like what I do in my readings, where they can really tap into that,
Mm.
that's where the
Yeah.
change happened. My other client, she kept worrying on, she wanted to ask about the business, and it was really about love. And the big thing was we cleared everything, and where she was geographically, we thought it was the perfect place. Where she was mentally, emotionally, great. but she was stuck. She was cleared, whoo, cleared wide open, but she had to make that shift, and she had to
Yes.
jump that timeline to meet Mr. Wonderful, for the business to start thriving again, for her to have
Mm,
the same house. And it was a conscious shift that she actually had to do and put the pieces together and be able to go, oh yeah, that is flow. That is, the direction I want to go. That does feel right. And looking back on it, just I guess about a month ago, she said, I didn't realize how much I was resisting. And we
mm,
get in our head, Darius, and we go, oh no, I have to go to college and get my degree and get the career, and maybe then I can get married and have the kids and stay in that job, even though I hate it, right? Our
yeah.
logical mind kicks in and goes, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't. Oh, well, maybe you can. That's easy for you, but I can't. And the fear and the doubt keep us stuck. So really clearing through that, shifting, jumping over that, making that conscious effort. And that's one of the things that the angels are really, really great at, is being able to show you, here's what's possible. Here's what has to be done, but you have a choice. You have free will. And here's what it looks like if you don't.
Yeah, that's what you did to me. We're getting a lot of questions about, does everybody have a timeline? Is there a higher timeline? Look like, feel like? There are a lot of us that have done energy work. I mean, this is a show where we highlight lots of different energy healers and different things. But for some people, everything they've been doing thus far really isn't creating big life changes or tangible results. Why is that? Why do you think that is from your perspective?
I believe one of the biggest things that's blocking people is they can't get out of their own way. Their fear, their doubt, like you mentioned earlier, their limiting
Yeah.
belief. I had one of my clients and she said, but I'm not an entrepreneur. Nobody in my family has ever owned their own business. I can't do what you do. You know what? Then you can't. And if you
Yeah.
truly believe that and you're not willing to open up and step out of that into something, and yeah, it's scary. Embrace the fear. We don't have to totally be calm. It's going to be scary, but do it anyway. And especially when you know this is part of your path, that's your highest destiny, that highest timeline. And that's
Mm,
what your angels can show you. They can show you where you are now, and where you are now may not be a bad place. You
yeah.
might be just hunky dory on the timeline you're on right now. This is so funny. I talked with a friend of mine from high school and had our high school reunion. And I said, how are you? How's everything going? And he said, I'm doing the job, divorced, but seeing the kids every other weekend. And now
Mm,
I'm just gonna sit here and grow old.
mm.
And I said, there you go. Good for you. Well, that's what he wanted. And that
Wow.
him, that was happy, happy, joy, joy, right? But
Mm,
if your timeline looks a little different, or maybe there are desires, matters of the heart that you
mm,
want,
mm.
God doesn't put it in your heart for no reason. Those things can come to pass, they can come to fruition. And sometimes you just need a little divine guidance on how to get there. And that support that says, oh, but you can, right? Darius, you had every reason in the world. Why would I go to Austin? You know, Twins doesn't run in my family, right? How am I going to do this spiritual business? I'm a lawyer. I mean, legit. Your boxes were checked. Why would you uproot everything? Aren't you glad you did?
Yeah. No, yeah, you have to have faith. I think the one thing that you do that's different is you let people feel that. If you feel that timeline and you feel like the difference between something that just makes you feel constricted, contracted, like, oh my gosh, this I can't do this, versus expansion, and you start to know that and learn that, you start to get drawn to that new timeline. It starts to actually pull you into it. And from there, you really don't need to know anything special or be anything special. You just need to allow that intuition to keep guiding you. And that's what I love about what you do and this type of work. It's not general, it's very specific to you, to your life, to what's ahead and what path you want to take. I've heard you say that everybody has like a soul level type of abundance or a soul level prosperity. Tell me about that. How do the angels see prosperity and abundance? How might that be different than the way we see it? Sometimes we focus on money, but I think there's probably a lot more that they see in this area, right?
You're right. It's so true. So remember, they see everything through the eyes of love. And when our angels look at us, they see our happiness and the value of that. They see how full is that cup, right?
Hmm.
And love in your life, the ability to make choices with that freedom you have, the you said it beautifully, the expansion that you have, the
Hmm.
joy, how you're getting to spend your time. Money, it's really interesting because they see money as a tool, just like a hammer and a nail to build a house. They
Hmm.
see it as a tool, whereas we as humans, so many times we equate it with success. So that can be almost an internal tug of war within ourselves when we finally start to step away from it and we say, okay, but let's say it's not about the money. What is it really about? Oh, it's about the freedom I have to spend more time with my kids, or
Yes.
to live where I want to live, or to be of service to so many people, right? To touch so many people's lives. So many of you on here are natural healers and you want nothing more than to help people. And when your angels look at you, they go, oh, the abundance of gifts, the prosperity she has in her ability to heal or his ability to heal.
That's true. That is prosperity. Like that skill is prosperity. That's true.
And you know, your patience, your beauty. And what's funny is when they see beauty, they don't see it in the physical sense like we do, where we go,
Yeah.
oh, it's aesthetically pleasing. They look at your light internally and how much light you're willing to share and give unapologetically, right?
Wow.
And that's one of the big things is so many of us don't want to step out of our comfort zone. We fear what other people are going to say coming out of the spiritual closet, or we really have this drive and ambition, but we fear that success because then we're worried, oh, people are going to think that we're too good or that we think we're better than they are. So then we start apologizing and we back off from the, let's say, the financial wealth that we're on the road to achieve. And so
Yes.
we start backpedaling.
Yeah, yeah, I gotta say, Jackie just wrote into us, and Jackie said, "This is eye-opening. I've done so much healing by teachers, but nothing is actually moving the needle. I'd love to get some help in going from trainer to energy worker." So, Jackie, raise your hand, and anyone else. We're going to be taking some live callers because we want to dive in and do some little mini taster sessions to see kind of where people are at. I love the truth that we all have a sort of 10x timeline. It doesn't mean 10x more money, although for some people that's going to happen, but it can be 10 times more joy, more alignment, more fulfillment, more living, more ease. What is for you, Courtney, a 10x abundance timeline? Explain a little bit about that. And then we're going to dive in and help some folks today because I know you've helped a lot of people achieve that. I think even you've achieved that by your angels guiding you.
Yeah. So one lady came to me and she said, I've heard you talk about these timelines. How can we do this? What is this? And she and I were doing a reading and what I'm offering here, where we really went into this and we went to the highest truth.
That's
And
right.
she thought it was going to be money. And that was what she had intended to 10x. And when we went into it, really it was love. It was feeling
Mm,
needed. It was feeling that she was a part of something. And
mm,
so many of y'all are starting to feel that now, this new energy of wanting to feel like you're contributing, you're giving back, you're serving, but also that you have a tribe, that you belong. And that's really been resonating a lot with people now
Interesting.
is that feeling of appreciation, of belonging, of knowing where you fit in, that identity. And it wasn't, what was so funny is, for the woman I'm speaking about, it wasn't the money. She thought the money would give her the identity. But
Right.
when she found the love, she said that gave her more than any amount of money could give her.
Yeah, because you might, this is really cool because this is what's coming into me. You might like 2x on love or 2x on joy or 2x on money, but you 10x on something else, like 10x on, fulfillment, 10x on connection to your gifts. So whatever it is, there's something out there for everybody where you're going to have so many multiples. But I think, and answer this for me, Courtney, I almost feel like the angels want you to see that, so then you have more faith and you start doing things that are truly in alignment with you, right? They want to increase something in your life so that you then become like something more, right? It's a way to like break the belief that it's not possible.
I worked with a client this morning and she said, last week was crazy. I was irritable and this, and that's not like me and what was going on. And one of the things that when I tuned in, I said, oh, baby, you were clearing some stuff that you'd stuffed down from a long time ago. But think about it like this. If you didn't have that day that you were irritable and not yourself, you wouldn't have the gratitude today for feeling the peace and the. So they gave her that to show her the opposite. But what's so interesting is, a couple of weeks ago before that, she said, oh, I'm seeing all of this stuff around nature and I'm really tuning in and aligning with my gifts. And I call it like foreshadowing. And I was like, yes, they want you to know this because that's where they're taking you. And so they give you a taste of it to let you know, yeah, it's still there, and see what's going on around you because we're bringing more of this to you.
Interesting. Yeah, well, I want to hear more about this. Everyone raise your hand. A lot of people may feel my life's not perfect. I'm not perfect right now. How could I even tap into a higher timeline until I fix everything and peel every onion and release every limiting belief? Is that true? Do we need to do all that before we can jump into that higher timeline?
Holy crap, no. Gosh. And I tell you what, I've got clients and they talk about, oh, I'll never, I can't get married. I need to lose another, 15 pounds or something. And I'm like, you are limiting yourself on everything. Or they feel like they can't teach on something with kids because maybe their kids aren't old enough yet, or their kids have gone off the straight and narrow path. No, you don't have to clear yourself of everything before you can align and be in that vibration and be on your path and be in that high timeline. It's like the woman, we cleared everything and it was like, okay, you're ready, but you're not on the right vibration. And in order to get you there, here's what needs to happen. And so the angels gave us some very divine guidance on specific steps she could take, and opening up that trust and having that faith and being able to move forward and say, I don't know how it's going to look. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I know this is the right step for me. And by taking that action, you said it earlier, Darius, that inspired action, we can have all the thoughts in the world and all the wants and needs in the world. But if we don't take that inspired action with that divine guidance and do something, then that man is going to be waiting on the other side of your divorce. Or Sherry is going to be waiting in Austin with your twin boys. My other client's going to be sitting there at her work, and her fiance with the beautiful home and the love is going to still be out there looking. So you have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone sometimes and step into your life in that higher timeline.
Yeah, I agree. It's amazing. And so yeah, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to figure it all out because the timeline's gonna it's going to allow you to become who you need to be at every step of the way. That's what's so elegant about this. And I gotta say, we got a lot of comments coming in. Linda says it'd be amazing to think about a different timeline. Another person wrote in, Courtney, please, I would love to have a nugget of joy that my situation is not my final destination. Annette, go ahead and raise your hand. I mean, this is what I want everyone to get is that you never have a final destination unless you decide that that's your final destination, right? It's whatever you decide. Courtney just said it. The other thing that comes in a lot of times, people say, the economy is not good, or I don't like what's happening in this part of the world, or I don't like what's happening with politics, or I don't like what's happening with this, or there's so much, division in the world. There's no way that I should follow a higher timeline. And I got to be honest, I can't remember exactly when it was that I really started following my timeline, but I think it was around 2008, 2009, right after the big financial collapse. And none of that affected, my 10xing of what was going on. So, Courtney, what are your thoughts on that? Because I know you have a lot of people following higher timelines and stuff is happening regardless of all the chaos and things that people see.
Cord, my husband and I were talking about this the other day. What are you giving your energy to? Where are you putting your focus and your attention? Years ago, I stopped listening to the news because I would get angry. I would get down. It was very consuming, and I'd start to obsess over the what ifs, and
Yeah.
then find out that half of it was BS anyway, and I just wasted all this time. So watch the Weather Channel. That's about all the news I get, and Cord gives me timelines. But where is your energy focused? Because if you're a person who's going to step into that stream of consciousness where it is doom and gloom and get
Mm,
caught up in the division and put your energy and your focus into that, your life is kind of like those social media algorithms where it's all you see. You
that's
attract
true.
that which you fear, and whatever you put your energy and effort into, it's gonna come back. And you know it's uh, it's like the old saying, you are and you become what you think about. And so when you think negative thoughts and I can't, and fear and this will never happen to me, you're planting those seeds and you're fertilizing that soil. But
And the
when
angels have a timeline for you, irregardless, right? So this kind of gets into supernatural probabilities that these things don't necessarily operate. I don't believe they operate on the laws of humankind or mankind or womankind. They operate from a higher set of supernatural probabilities. So it really doesn't matter. It just means get locked into what you're here to do, and the supernatural will take care of itself, right?
yes, and and you've got to have that focus, that intention, that want, if you will, that part of you that says, yes, I'm going somewhere, and I'm going to follow it and I'm going to do it, as opposed to I'm just going to sit on the porch and grow old. That can happen too.
Well, I don't think anyone here wants to do that. I think a lot of people want to see what is their higher timeline. And, I don't know if we have time to lay that all out for everybody, but I think we can really look at inflection points and little tweaks for people. Let me know if you are curious as to whether you feel like there is a higher timeline for you. And I guarantee you there is. The answer is, yeah, there is. Because if God made you, God didn't just believe that you have one path and this is all you could be, all you could do. And it's not necessarily about efforting or trying harder or any of that either. It's just about getting into sync with what you were designed to do. And I want to get to a few questions. So I'm going to go to, I wanted to get to Annette because Annette had a question about her, I think it was final destination. And if you want to raise your hand, go ahead and click reactions, and then you'll see a little hand there. Courtney, anything you need before we do some of these little mini sessions and just kind of give people some guidance here? And I'd ask everyone too, just like think about your number one question or what it is you want Courtney to help you answer.
Yes. When y'all come on, if you'll give me your name, the spelling of it, if it's not on your screen, your age and geographic location. That's where I anchor into when I go into it and get the information. And your question, people say, oh, just whatever the angels want to tell me. Okay. And that's beautiful, except for one thing. When you look up at the stars at night and you see the galaxy, you see gazillion stars. That's how many different things your angels can want to tell you. It could be, oh, go to the next gas station because it's 2 cents less expensive. But we want to have some kind of somewhat narrow down the field of topics of what it is you want to know about. So it can be a little bit more specific. Don't feel like we're going to cut out any of the other messages if you get really specific on your question.
Perfect. All right. I've got Annette unmuted. So, Annette, you're live with Courtney Levens, and we're going to try to get through as many of these as we can. And yet, we're going to be doing something for the whole group as well. So, get ready. It's just getting warmed up here, folks. Annette, how can we help you today?
Hello,
Hello.
Courtney. I was thinking of so many questions, and you just kept answering them one after another as I listened to you speak. To be specific, I'm retired. I'm 69 and healthy, and it feels like, oh no, is this my life now? I'm on Social Security, so no jobs. And I know I have to kick my own self in the butt.
Baby, tell me, where are you geographically? I'm trying to tune into you and I'm going kind of all over the place. Where can I find you?
Yes, I live in the East Coast now, near Boston.
Okay, one of the first things that they're saying is you're looking out your window and you're looking at other people. When they say window, this could mean you're looking at TV or social media or something. But the big thing is you're comparing yourself to other people, and your angels are really wanting you to pull back on that. Think about, if you want to compare yourself to your lineage, go ahead and do that. Did they have that spiritual connection that you have? So one, that's going to start getting you out of that lack mentality. Wow, I didn't know that was coming through. So that's going to help you.
Are you comparing yourself a lot, Linda? Do you feel like that?
I hear that loud and clear. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay. And know that just by shifting and going, man, I am pretty awesome and amazing. And look at how great I am and all that kind of stuff. You're 69, you're retired, but it doesn't mean that you had to retire, right? And that you still have drive, ambition, vitality. There are things you enjoy, things you like. You're not a grumpy old man, right? You have wants, desires, and you see the joy and the beauty. And I got to tell you, that means a lot. So when we step you up and out of some of that vibration, you're going to be seeing more and more possibilities for yourself, for your life day to day. And why do they keep showing me all these plants and animals around you?
Well, I love that. That's joy for me.
There you go.
Yeah. Is there some timeline? I know we're going to go to another caller, but is there a timeline where some of this starts to merge? She's not judging herself, comparing herself. She's in that joy state, doing something with animals and plants and inflow. Do they show you anything like that? Because that would be pretty awesome.
They're giving me the number 2, and the Courtney and me wants it to be 2 minutes. I'm like, right now, let's do this, okay? But Annette, the really cool thing is I don't feel like this is 2 years. I feel like this could be 2 days to 2 weeks. And you've got that joy. And really, I love this. Your angels are showing me you're going to have a pep in your step. There's going to be a renewed sense of, you know what I've always wanted to do? I've wanted to do this. And it's interesting because I feel like there's someone else who comes across your path, feminine energy, most likely a female, who y'all will be talking about some of your desires and wants in life. And I feel like you two are like-minded. And so know that I'm seeing a friendship come through with all of this, but it's really going to expand some joy. And the other thing is this is going to start filling up your social calendar. Mm-hmm. You're going to have things that you're going to be going and doing, and this whole new zest for life. Yeah. Is this all your life is? Oh, heck no, honey. your social
Wow.
calendar is,
Yeah. I was thinking, oh no, this isn't how I'm gonna live. I'm vibrant.
yes, yes, and
Wow.
full. Yeah,
Well, yes, thank you. Thank you, Courtney.
you're welcome, beautiful.
Thank you as well. All right, I've got I've got a lot of people with their hands raised. I think I want to go to we had another caller. Leslie was asking about, let's see, she's looking for a job again. She says, what job or business should I do now? What would be aligned with my highest timeline, right? My angelic prosperity timelines. Angels want you to be prosperous, not just in money, but in joy. Like Courtney said, the spring in your step, living your purpose, your angelic prosperity timeline. So Leslie, is that you unmuted or do I have someone
Yes,
else?
yes.
Okay. All right.
Is it
So
me?
I like to call this the angelic prosperity timeline, the APT. What your aptitude is, your angelic prosperity timeline makes it easy. So what's going on and how can Courtney help you?
Hi, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, I'm so excited. Courtney, I don't even know where to begin, but I guess just to say, what business or job should I be doing right now? I'm 61. I'm constantly losing jobs and starting over. We are always in a financial instability. Like here I am again in like crisis mode. And I do feel like it's a
Mm.
family thing. My parents had it. I don't want it for my kids. What do I do? I just want to be aligned with my highest timeline. I'm ready for change.
Yes. Tell me where you are
I'm
geographically.
so sorry. I'm in Illinois.
Okay. I gotta tell you, the energy that comes through with you, I just love. There is nothing you can't do. You have a creative just brilliance that is dying to get out. And the it's interesting. Okay, so I've been using my purple notepad. They called the pink one for you. Love, love, love. Okay. Your love is infectious. It's contagious because it brings about so much joy. We need to get on a call and we need to clear this back to the point of origination with your family and the patterns that keep doing that. And we can remedy that. But really, the big thing that they're saying for you, Leslie, is you love beauty and your creativity. And what is your artistic pleasure that you really would like to do? Would you really got to go, oh man, wouldn't that be the greatest thing ever if I could do that and get paid for it? What is it, Leslie?
I got Courtney. Um, I used to be super creative. I think that when you get concerned about surviving, that kind of
Yes.
shuts down. And
Yes.
so what I have been doing lately is working as a early literacy interventionist, teaching kindergarten and first grade kids reading. And I love it. But you know what? They're limiting my hours now. It's all yes. So I did love that though. I really did. And I would
Okay.
love to be creative and I would love to have my own business. I can't fine tune that.
Yeah.
Okay. You've got so many gifts and abilities. Um, we need to get the pattern stopped. Okay. Because
Yeah.
what happens is we go into it, we go, oh, I love this. It's the greatest thing ever. When is that other shoe going to drop? And we start expecting it,
Yeah.
and that supports it to come back. Know that your creativity, your love. Okay. So those two things, that's you can't beat that force. It's all powerful. Okay. So the love and the creativity, the joy that brings. You have such a magnetic energy around the kids and they adore you. And that's not going away. So once we get this pattern stopped, if this is the job you want to stay at, we can make that happen most likely. Archangel Michael is saying, yes, I'll let him say it again when we go in and we do some fine tuning on you. You've just started changing things, Leslie.
I did.
Yes. I mean, in 10 seconds, something in you just shifted. Can you feel it in your heart?
Right. When you were talking, I realized that I don't want to just go back to what I was doing and be limited. I want it to be my own. I want to
Yeah.
be able to work with the kids and not be told, you got to leave in an hour. You got to, I just want it to be mine and I want to run with it and have financial
Mm.
freedom.
Courtney, real quick, I know I'm jumping in a lot, but I get excited about this topic. Can we help her feel that a little bit? Because one of the things I think is once she starts to feel it, it's almost like that timeline. This is something you did with me. You helped me feel what it would be like. And as you guys start to feel it when you work with Courtney, you're going to find yourself pulled to that timeline without struggle, without having to know everything or take all these classes. Like, you're going to see reality start to meld into that new version that you want just because you start to feel it. So I don't know if we can help her feel it just a little bit or plug into it, but I think that's going to be almost like like a GPS automatically guiding her towards that timeline.
Yeah, Darius, you want to do like a whole audience thing? Is that
I want to do just for her so she can feel it because for this
okay?
specific timeline. And then, yeah, we're going to maybe help some folks later as well. Maybe the whole audience, we could do something like that. That'd be cool.
Leslie, it was beautiful to be in your energy and feel that shift. So close your eyes if you don't mind.
Okay.
And we're going to go back in, and I want you to imagine it in your mind's eye. And as you see, whether it's your name in the front of the building, of the business you own, working with the children, step into it and then drop your attention down into your heart. And as you go into this and you walk into the studio, the business, allow your heart to expand and feel all that love going out to each one of the students, to their families, knowing the difference you're making. And it's all because of you. And feel your heart expand and feel the joy. And then I want you to tell me the emotions you're feeling.
Oh God, I'm getting chills on top of my chills. It feels incredible.
Yeah. And now let me ask you, do you start thinking, oh, well, what about this? What about that? It's right.
Oh
There's
yeah, it's
less
just,
of all that how you just are.
yeah.
Yeah,
I can completely feel it. I have no idea
that's
how to
right.
get there, but I can completely
Doesn't
feel
matter.
it.
Doesn't
Yeah,
matter. Don't even
yeah,
worry about that. That's that's the biggest mistake people make. They try to worry about the how and then, whatever we want to call it, lower energy takes us off the angelic timeline. So that's
yes,
that's the secret sauce. You don't need to know the how. The how will show up. You stay in
Yeah.
that feeling.
Leave the how up to the higher powers. Leave
Yeah,
that up to God and your angels.
your how could be like a 10-year how. Like my how is like so slow because I know too much. But God's how is like it could be 10 minutes. So anyway, Leslie, I'm glad you feel
you.
that.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking this time. I so appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome, honey.
Wow. I love that. I love that because we got to demonstrate that like once you can get people to feel this, it's actually sort of like a supercharger to that space. Man, this is great. This is great. We're getting a lot of questions. Courtney, anything you want to say about that? Because I know some people even said they were feeling it. Sometimes someone else feeling their highest timeline, like we all start to go, well, wait a minute. I could do this too. And I don't need to know all the details. I don't need to have all that, right? I just need to focus on what feels in my highest alignment. And I love that because that's the way God works. Anyway,
No, you're exactly. I get so excited about this and kind of spaz out. So I'm a dork. Y'all just bear with me. But being in her energy and listening to Leslie and talking about it, there was like, okay, the GPS you talked about. Literally, my focus went from being in here with her. It shifted, and I was like, hold on, you could, I could feel it energetically, and it was like, we're not stuck anymore and beating our head against the wall of how am I going to continue with this job. It was no, let's go through the door into this higher timeline, highest destiny. I'll do it myself. I want to be in charge. And man, she shifted so quickly, and that's just going to catapult her.
That is true. I forgot when she came on, she was talking about a job. That's so amazing. Like we went so fast, I didn't even remember that part. All right, we take one more and then we do have something for the group. I've got Jackie, and Jackie says, no more classes. I'm so done. I want to get it going. Jackie, Jaqi, could you unmute? There you are. Hi, Jackie. How are you? Okay, could you say something again here? Hold on. Hello.
Can
Uh-oh, I
you
think
hear,
we're having some audio issues.
can you hear me?
Okay, try again. Where are you calling in from, Jackie?
I'm in Philadelphia.
Okay. If you can hold the phone really close to your mouth, perhaps. Okay, there you are. Or if you can be close to a microphone.
I had to press unmute.
Oh, yeah. Just okay. Yeah, just leave yourself unmuted. Sorry about that.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Good. Good to see
So
you. You look great.
I stopped at the pizza driving in case you can talk.
Okay, Jackie,
Oh,
I know we're having
can you
some technical issues. So if you don't mind, can I jump in and tell you what your angels are saying almost before you've asked your question? There is so much for you. You have the knowledge of what you're wanting to start. They're not showing me specifically, but it is an entrepreneurial thing where you are going out and doing that. And I feel like you're probably actually teaching others and wanting to do this. And it's more of your spiritual path. The biggest thing for you is going out there and doing it. And whether that means saying, okay, I'm going to get my business cards made, or I'm going to go find a brick and mortar place to start it, or I'm going to have my website up, or I'm going to schedule my first teaching class, 3 months from now and start getting registrations coming in. That's the biggest thing for you. They're saying is pick a point on your timeline where you want to have something achieved and get it started. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that resonate with you?
Yes. I feel like I had the website up. It's crickets. I don't know what. I feel like the alignment missing is me. I am not aligned to something. I don't want to take any more classes. I'm almost done my PhD. I want to get it out there. And I feel like I don't know what it is, a big boulder, you know?
You
I
got to
can't
jump
put my hands
timelines.
and fingers on.
Yeah, you won't be able. I mean, you won't be able to do what you need to do staying in the same timeline. So that's where you've got to jump. And we're going to talk about that angelic prosperity timeline, but it's in the feeling, it's in the knowing, it's in that shift that can happen. Courtney, anything you want to say about that? I mean, I think there's a lot of people's like sometimes the more information you have, the harder it is to do anything because you know too much. I mean, I have an MBA in finance. I was a lawyer. I mean, I have degrees. You can see the back of my wall if I ever show y'all. It's insane. I got degrees upon degrees, but none of that stuff actually helped me whatsoever. What really helped me was getting on the right timeline and then feeling from that timeline and everything would fall into place.
Yeah.
Jackie, there's a process. Sorry, baby, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's about jumping that timeline and breaking that energetic barrier of where you think you are. And you're right. It's about you showing up, and it's about you being there, and it's about you getting out there. And I can give you some tips and tricks on that about breaking through that block and breaking through that barrier. Probably going to need the 45-minute reading for that because we're going to be doing a lot of work on it. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Jackie. I'm sorry we had a little bit of audio issues, but I think the key is here. Don't learn anything, change reality. And Courtney, yeah, whenever you're ready, let's jump into whatever it is we're going to do. I'm excited.
Yeah, perfect. So everybody get comfortable, get relaxed, feet on the floor, sit and know you're sitting. Go ahead and close your eyes, cut yourself off from the earthly distractions. And I want you to just feel who you are, because this is how you feel just sitting here on this timeline. And now I want you to imagine at your heart this beautiful flower opening. And as you focus on that energy, it grows up and it goes up your neck, your head, and even out the top, the crown chakra. And you send this energy, this feeling, and it goes higher and higher out the room, past the clouds. Go ahead and go into the black void of space with the stars. And we call in our angels and guides. And stay up there. Know that you are safe. Know that it is safe for you to see. And we call in Archangel Michael to give us strength to be able to see. We call in Gabriel